YouTube, how's it going? The Code House is back with my best bets and locks of Week 13, Thursday Night Football tonight. Excited for that. Tweeted out my best bets, like props and everything for tonight. We'll show them in this video as well. Really excited about this. We recently did a score predictions video, picks against spread for every single game. Check that out. Join us for our content. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. Always talking with you guys there. Post my tickets on there as well, what I'm betting on. Sponsors, you see them on your screen, links pinned in the comments. Let's go on to my spread lock of the week. I'm going to go with the Lions. Maybe that's a little bold, not really, but just because, they haven't been playing too great recently, but the Saints are very beat up. I think the Lions will have success on the ground. The Saints just aren't consistent enough on offense, too, so Lions should cover that. Chargers should cover the 5.5 against the Chargers. Like kind of back and forth between those two being my lock. Chiefs -6 against the Packers. Packers playing better. Bad matchup for them though. Against that Chiefs defense, I think Spagnuolo is gonna make Jordan Love's job, harder than it's been the last couple weeks and where he's been playing pretty well. Jags should cover that 8. I have them winning by 13. I think they can win by more than that. Rams should cover that 3.5. Yeah, you'd feel a little more comfortable if it was at 3. But they definitely should cover that. Browns are really beat up. Rams are healthy at the moment, and they're pretty good when they're healthy. For alternate spreads, kind of options for a parlay, basically, we've done very well on these, as we should. The Jags, if you bring it down to -3, you want to put that in a parlay. We'll throw that in a parlay later in this video. Yeah, they should have no problem with the Bengals. The Bengals shouldn't be able to score much. Jags will stop the run like they always do, force the Bengals into past situations, and that's where they create turnovers. And I think they'll do enough offensively. Lions +3, Chargers +2, Chiefs -1, and the Texans +3. I think they're going to beat the Broncos, but if you get them +3, like they should, like if they're not going to lose by more than that, I really don't see it. So it's a pretty good option for an alternate line. Straight up locks, 11-1 on the year. See if we can keep this rolling. Was really hoping to go undefeated on the year on that, but it was weeks ago. We lost the Bills game, but go with the Jags against the Bengals. They're much better when the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow, and in Jacksonville Monday Night Football, bad matchup for the Bengals. Jags stop the run, create turnovers. That's the big reason why. Patriots are playing as bad as anyone, so the Chargers stepped up last week. Besides the turnovers against the Ravens, the defense played better, so they should win. Go with the Lions. Against the Saints, bounce back game, beat up Saints team with injuries. The Dolphins at 4. That's a little bit of a trap game. I think the Commanders can get offense going. I just don't see them winning still. The Dolphins will have plenty of offense, but you would think I would have that ranked higher, but it could be a little sneaky. And the Chiefs, the Packers have been playing better, so that's why that'd be at 5, but I'm still counting on these teams to win here. This is maybe the first ever. I didn't pick an upset this week, which my upset pick's been working out for me this year, so that's tough. I didn't hesitate on any of my picks except for straight up picks, except for Colts Titans, but I ended up picking the Colts. They're favored by 1, so very close to going Titans. So I'm not going to put them up here if I'm not picking them. I did that the first couple weeks. I even listed ones that maybe you could go with, but I wouldn't go with. That was stupid. So I'm not going to go with any, but I think the Titans and the Eagles would be your best bets. The Eagles +3 is interesting. Like, if you're on board with the Eagles winning that game at home, go to Moneyline there. It's pretty solid. I just think the Niners are going to win. I think they're going to win by 3, but it's going to be right around there. So tricky week when it comes to the upset picks. It's unfortunate, really. And then we got over-under. Got a few this week. Been doing better on the over-under. Started the year strange. I had the Eagles-Bills last week. Eagles-Niners should go over as well. I'm very confident the Niners having offense in this game. I think they'll be effective through the air. A lot of teams are effective through the air against the Eagles, unless they have an awful offensive line. The Niners do not. And their running game should be solid because it's the 49ers. I think they're going to score points. I think they're going to score at least 27. I have them scoring 30, but I can see 27. Could they score 24? I guess. I think they're going to score. I think they're really going to score. The Eagles, the least I see them scoring is 23. The Niners defense is pretty solid, so that maybe is the scare with going the over for this. But I thought it was better with D'Amico Ryans. I guess Javon Hargrave revenge game, just thought of that. But man, Niners run a lot of man coverage. The Eagles should be able to make things happen, especially down the stretch of this game. So I think the least they score is 23. So the over should be 47, over 47. Falcons-Jets is a very low over-under, but I don't see how it doesn't go under. I have 16-13, and when coming up with that score, I don't look at the over-unders when I do that either. When coming up with the score, that was like the highest I was going to have, actually. And even that is under. So Jets got a good defense. I think the Falcons will move the ball when they get touchdowns. Will Ritter turn the ball over in the red zone like he usually does? Probably. The Jets, I don't know if they'll move the ball that well because of the quarterback situation, so it should go under. And then the Dolphins and Commanders, 49 over under. So maybe it's bold of me to have it up here, but I have a feeling, I know everyone knows the Dolphins are going to be good on offense. I have a feeling the Commanders have a bounce back game on offense in this one. So I think that goes over. On to my best bets and kind of coming up with some parlays. The Lions were my favorite one, so we start with that. What could we add to make a good 2-game parlay? The Jags -3 alternate line. I have them winning by 13. 8. I have them covering the 8, but that's a little risky, scary. Like, what if the Bengals play great defense and even if that happens, the Jags are still going to win. But maybe they just don't score a whole lot. That's a possibility. Love them at -3. We throw the Chargers money line in there. We can throw the Chiefs money line in there. And then a pretty good one, like a pretty decent odds, like not as bad of odds as the Chargers, Chiefs, whatever. The Texans. Broncos due for a loss. I like the matchup for the Texans. They're looking for that bounce back game. So that's why I threw that one in there as my 5th option. And then, I tweeted this out. This is my Seahawks Cowboys Thursday Night Football best bets. I'm not recommending to parlay those props together, or those are kind of just single bets for me. And I really look at the receptions for Charbonnet. Maybe it changed by now, but it was plus 110, 120. When I first saw it, I think it went down to 100, plus 100. It's positive odds. That's incredible to me, because he's been getting 4, 5, 6 receptions. So that, Forrest cutting it close, but it still hits the over. So I like that. And then they're going to, Kenneth Walker, they're going to have to use them. So that's a pretty good single bet. For the Charbonnet, over 13.5 rushing yards. Yeah, it's like -110, somewhere around there. It was 12.5. Or not yards, attempts, excuse me. I don't know what I said. Rushing attempts. It was 12.5. I love that. Last I checked, when making this, it was 13.5. I still like that because the Cowboys are one of the very best pass defenses in football. You're going to have to run the football against them. A couple teams were able to do that. They put it on tape. The Seahawks may look at it and be like, we're going to, away on Thursday night, we're going to have to run the football, control the clock. That's our chance at winning. The Seahawks were getting hammered last week. He still hit the over on the 13.5 rushing attempts. So I see it happening. I wish it was 12.5 still. If you got it out there at 12.5, congrats. Again, no Kenneth Walker. So I would take that one and maybe pair it with one of the alternates. Pollard he has underwhelming games. Not really recently, but even on those ones, he gets over 50. And Seattle's run defense is worse than their pass defense. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be as effective on offense as people think. People have them scoring around 30 points. I think more around 24. People say 27, 30 points around there. I don't know if it'll be. It could. I don't know about that much, but Pollard should hit that over. Ferguson, I had that last week. He only got 1 catch, but it was 35-yard catch. He usually gets like 3 or 4 catches. Even with 2 catches, he should be able to get the 25 plus. So that's one of those ones where it's like doesn't take a whole lot for it to happen, and it's pretty decent odds in an alternate. And Lamb's a tricky one. I almost liked his I think 83.5 around there. His actual prop line. I almost liked it because he's a hell of a receiver. He gets over that a lot, but he kills zone coverage. He's a zone killer. He's not a man killer. He can play against man, but he's a zone killer. Seahawks run a ton of zones. So right away, I'm like, man, this is going to be one of his games. But at the same time, they might have Witherspoon on him a lot because when Lamb plays in the slot, Witherspoon can play outside and the slot, so he could shed him a little bit. But again, they're not running a lot of man coverage. Seahawks been fairly decent stopping the pass compared to the run. He should definitely get over that 60. Like, he's either going to get like right around just over 60 or he's going to get like 100. So I really, really thought about his actual line, CeeDee Lamb, just because the coverage matchup, because he is really good against zone defenses. And the Seahawks been sneaking in a little bit more man, though. but they're mainly a zone defense. But I like those Charbonnet lines. I especially if that we still got positive odds on the receptions because maybe he's due to get 3. It's very possible we lose on that. Very possible. Keep that in mind. It's positive odds for a reason, but that is pretty good value. That is pretty good value there. So I like a shot on that, and you can do that by itself. That's what I love. You don't have to parlay things together. But maybe you want to take the rushing attempts for Charbonnet, pair that with the Ferguson 25 plus receiving, or the Pollard rushing 2 running backs there, or the Lamb. It doesn't matter. Give you some options here. So not a long list. It could be more of a defensive game. I could be wrong on that, but it could be more of a defensive game than people thought. Even though I had 24-17, it's not that much of a defensive game. But that's gonna wrap it up for my locks. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Let me know what you're rolling with in the comments. We're always talking with you guys on Twitter. That is gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.